Welcome to From The Book Nook, the podcast where we dive into the latest must-reads, hidden gems, and everything in between. I'm Greg.
And I'm Anne. Today, we're coming to you straight from the cozy corners of the Book Nook Cafe, where the coffee is hot, the bookshelves are full, and great conversations are always brewing.
If it's on the New York Times bestseller list, we're talking about it. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, find a comfy seat, and let's turn the page together.
Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of From the Book Nook. So glad you're joining us today.
Yes, we've got a really exciting discussion lined up.
Absolutely. Today we're diving into Doris Kearns Goodwin's Leadership in Turbulent Times.
I've been itching to talk about this book.
Same here. 4 presidents, 4 unique styles of leadership.
Totally. So, shall we start with Abraham Lincoln?
Sounds good. Where to even begin with Lincoln?
I know, right? His ability to bring together a team of rivals is just legendary.
It's incredible how he managed to get people who didn't just disagree with him, but outright opposed him to work together.
Exactly. And he did it with such humility and grace.
Do you think his humble beginnings played a role in that?
You mean his log cabin upbringing?
Yes. Growing up in poverty, limited formal education, it had to shape his perspective.
Definitely. I think it gave him a real understanding of people's struggles.
Right. He could empathize with the common man in a way that most politicians couldn't.
Absolutely. And that empathy was key to his leadership style.
Do you think that's something we see in leaders today?
Well, it's rare, but not impossible.
True. In today's fast-paced world, empathy sometimes takes a back seat.
Yeah, but perhaps that's exactly why it's needed more than ever.
Good point. Could a modern leader replicate Lincoln's approach?
It's challenging, but I think authenticity and a genuine concern for people's well-being go a long way.
Agreed. But with today's media scrutiny, it's a tough landscape.
That's for sure. But maybe that's all the more reason for leaders to be genuine.
Absolutely.
Speaking of genuine, let's talk about Theodore Roosevelt.
The bull moose himself.
One of my favorite nicknames in history.
Mine too. His energy and zest for life were unmatched.
Totally. After the personal tragedies he faced, it's amazing how he bounced back.
Losing his wife and mother on the same day. Unimaginable.
And then he heads out west to become a cowboy.
Who does that?
Someone with incredible resilience and thirst for adventure.
Exactly. And he brought that spirit into his presidency.
His idea of the bully pulpit was groundbreaking.
Definitely. He understood the power of the presidency to shape public opinion.
Do you think social media is today's bully pulpit?
In many ways, yes. Leaders can reach out directly to people.
But with so much noise online, it's hard to stand out.
True. Authenticity becomes even more important.
Absolutely. And Roosevelt was nothing if not authentic.
Imagine his Instagram feed.
Oh, man. Full of rugged outdoor adventures and bold policy announcements.
I'd follow him in a heartbeat.
Same here.
Moving on, let's discuss FDR.
Yes. His leadership during such challenging times was remarkable.
Guiding the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, no easy task.
Not at all. His optimism was truly inspiring.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Such a powerful message.
Do you think his struggle with polio influenced his perspective?
For sure. Overcoming personal adversity must have deepened his empathy.
It likely made him more relatable to those facing hardships.
And his fireside chats were genius.
Agreed. He used radio to create an intimate connection with the public.
Do you think leaders today could benefit from that approach?
Definitely. In an era of impersonal communication, a personal touch can make a huge difference.
But it's challenging with the vast array of media platforms.
Very true. Maintaining a consistent and genuine presence is tough.
But those who manage it really resonate with people.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about the enigma of Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yes, LBJ, a fascinating and complex leader.
His political savvy was unparalleled.
But his methods were let's say, assertive.
Ha, the Johnson treatment was infamous.
Right, getting up close and personal to persuade. Can you imagine that today?
He'd probably be trending on Twitter for invading personal space.
Definitely. But despite his tactics, he achieved significant progress in civil rights.
Absolutely. The Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act were monumental.
But then there's the Vietnam War, casting a shadow over his legacy.
Yeah, that complicates how history views him.
Do you think history has been fair to him?
It's hard to say. His contributions were significant, but the war was a major issue.
Exactly. It shows how a leader's legacy can be multifaceted.
Leaders are human, after all.
Right. With strengths and flaws.
Speaking of that, what do you think is the common thread among these presidents?
I think resilience stands out.
They all faced tremendous challenges.
And they each overcame personal and national crises.
Do you think that's what made them great leaders?
I believe so. Adversity can forge strength and character.
Absolutely. It's inspiring.
Do you think today's leaders can learn from them?
Definitely. There's a lot to take away from their experiences.
Like embracing challenges rather than avoiding them.
Exactly. And being adaptable.
Couldn't agree more.
Before we wrap up, any favorite anecdotes from the book?
Oh, so many. One of my favorites is when Roosevelt invited Booker T. Washington to dine at the White House.
Yes. That was a bold move at the time.
Absolutely. It caused a stir, but he didn't back down.
Shows his commitment to equality.
Indeed. Do you have a favorite?
I love the story of Lincoln writing the letter to General Meade after Gettysburg, expressing his disappointment but never sending it.
Right. It shows his restraint and understanding of human nature.
Exactly. He knew when to hold back.
That's a rare quality.
Agreed.
Well, this has been a fantastic discussion.
Absolutely. I always enjoy exploring these topics with you.
Same here. I hope our listeners have enjoyed it as well.
Me too. And if you haven't read Leadership in Turbulent Times yet, we highly recommend it.
Definitely. Doris Kearns Goodwin does an amazing job bringing history to life.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for joining us on From the Book Nook.
Until next time, happy reading. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of From the Book Nook.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
If you're interested, our channel description contains links to the beverages we are drinking and some Book Lovers merchandise.
We love having you here. Bye for now.
See you next time.